A lot of parents make this mistake. They think that they have a certain sense of ownership over their children. They think that they own their children. It's like they have bought a house or a car or a property or some asset and they own it. In the same way, they feel that they have ownership over their children. This is one of the biggest mistakes that parents make. It is one of the biggest mistakes that you will make as a parent. And it is one of the biggest mistakes that you should avoid. But having said that, it's also a mistake that can happen very easily. It's very natural on the part of parents to think that they own their children. Why? Because right from the start, this is what young parents are told. They are told that their kids are a gift from God. Their kids are a blessing that they have received. Their kids belong to them. Their kids are theirs. This is what young parents are told. And not just that, in the initial years, when kids are growing up, they are completely dependent on their parents, 100%, for everything, for love, for food, for care, everything. And it's the parents that take care of their kids during this period. And it's not just for a year or a couple of years. This happens for a good amount of period, for at least a decade. So it's very natural on the part of the parents to think that they own their kids because they are doing everything for them. But having said this, though it's very natural, though it can come very easily, parents must avoid it. Parents must not think that they own their children. This is something that they shouldn't do. Why? Because when you think that you own something, when parents think that they own their children, it is a very big possibility that they would try to control them. You see, because they own them, they would try to control their kids. They would feel that these kids are their extension. Parents would feel like they have arms. The kids are an extension of their own life. And once they start thinking along these lines, they would want their kids to do things that they couldn't do with their life. They would want them to move and act according to their wishes. They would want them to walk on paths that they wanted to walk on. It's bound to happen. And the bad thing is that they would be successful in doing this. They would be successful in doing this for a certain period of time. When the kid is small, the kid will agree with their parents on everything. So the parents would be successful. But it would only happen for a certain period of time. Because once the kid grows up, once the kid reaches a certain age, the kid would have formed enough understanding of the world, a sense of the world, that the kid would start thinking on its own. And once the kid starts thinking on its own, it would challenge you. It would challenge your control. It would fight against your control. It would not be very happy that you are controlling it. So it would obviously naturally fight you. And there are two outcomes that could happen. Either the kid would be successful in its fight or it would fail. If it's successful, the kid would be able to free himself or herself from your control. The kid would be happy that it's free, but you won't be happy. You would want the kid to be under your control. And in this way, your relationship with your kid would get hampered. It would get hampered very, very badly. And it's something that you don't want. Now, secondly, if the kid fails, that's the worst scenario out of the two. The kid shouldn't fail. If it fails, then it will lose the spirit of life. The spirit that they have for life, that would be crushed. They would succumb to the pressure and they would start living their lives under your control. They would start living their lives like you would want them to. Because of these reasons and because of these culminations, you should avoid this line of thinking where you think that you own your kids at all costs. You should stay away from this thought process. Because you must remember this, that your kids might come through you. Your kids come through you, but they are not yours. They are not yours. They are really not yours. They are their own piece of life. They just come through you. You are just a vessel through which they come into this world. And hence I say that parents should not think of their children as a property that they own. Instead, think of them as a responsibility that you have. Your kids are your responsibility. It's your responsibility that you turn your kids into members of the society that are actively contributing positively to the society. That's your responsibility. They should be active, positive members of the society. And not just that, they should be independent members in the society. They shouldn't be dependent on anyone. They should be independent. They shouldn't even be dependent on you. And you know what? If you think that you own them, if you think that you can control them, you would never let it happen that they will become 100% independent. Why? Because you cannot control an independent being. The moment a being becomes independent, it's out of anybody's control. So if you would think of them as a property, you would obviously want to control them. And because you would want to control them, you would never let them become 100% independent. So do not think of your kids as a property that you own. It's not very good for your kids. It's not good for you as well. And it's not good for the relationship that you will have with your kids. I hope this message finds you in good spirit. I hope this message will help you along your parenting journey. If you took something out of this video, do press the like button. And if you haven't done already, hit subscribe. This is your friend John, signing off.